Is there a common misconception that outsiders have about the arts? Do you want to get cleared away?
Yeah, I mean, I think people think it's easy.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not, and I think it's just that's a credit to people that are like sculpting and painting and dancing and whatever. It's like they make it look easy.
Yeah.
But I think the other misconception is that it's it doesn't take physical stamina, I think is the other thing, right? Like, athletes, there's a mental and physical stamina that's required, and it's like evident. Like when you see a softball game, or you see a football game, or you see a baseball game or basketball, like you can see the athleticism, and you see the mental toughness of that player, on the court or on the field or whatever the case may be. Like it's evident to someone watching it. But I don't think an audience seeing a play necessarily knows that that's going on, right? Because while they're up there saying these lines and embodying a character, they also have to make sure they're standing in the right light. They have to make sure they come in at the right time. They have to make sure they cross over and sit down on the couch at the right time. They have to make sure they get off stage and get their costume change, And some of the stories are like, okay, I'm like, this is a really happy, joyous moment, and I stepped off stage, and now it's like 6 weeks later, and I'm depressed, and then I have to walk right back on, right? Like that takes a total different kind of mental toughness. Yeah, and I think physically, it's difficult. I mean, obviously in a musical, there is a much more physical rigor because you're singing and dancing, 60% of the time on stage. But I think in a straight play, I think it's that way too. I mean, when we did the Diary of Anne Frank this year, the mental toughness was, I think, the biggest challenge for them because, they were showing these families living in the annex for, a very, 2 years. So they were, in 2.5 hours, they were showing 2 years of their life. But physically, Ellie had to make potatoes and kale, and Emma's serving them, and Jared's playing cards, and Katryn's writing in her diary, and she's really writing, and Jillian's really doing a crossword puzzle. But at the same time as they're doing that, they have to remember that they're starving. They have to be really quiet. They're upset with their mom that day. I mean, there's all of these other things that they're having to do, and so. Aside from the fact, I think that probably goes with people thinking it's easy. I think they don't realize the mental and physical toughness that has to come from performing.